Hayward filter, variable speed pump. We got a side suction there coming in. Right there, main drain coming in. And then the skimmer is right there. So I'll show you how to blow all that stuff out too. Yeah, sometimes it can be confusing on all this stuff. There you got a UV, ultraviolet. So you blow all the lines out the suction side and discharge. You just follow it, going out. Backwash is over there. Normally it's on the side where the sight glass is. Normally where the sight glass is, it's the closest pipe. That's your backwash. So it comes out of the pump, goes in the dial, goes out here, goes through the ultraviolet, goes out through the top, goes through the heater, and then out, and then down. So I got two shutoffs there. One's the waterfall. That's the waterfall. That's all my jets. So I got all my duct plugs right there. For this pool, I'm going to use some duct plugs. And here's just a normal gizmo. This one, as you can see, doesn't have the blowout one here because because I have a main drain on this, I can bring the water down below the skimmer. Drop the water as much as you can. If you have a main drain that goes into the pump house, bring it below the skimmer, and then you can use this, just the standard size gizmo. So we're going to take out all the jets, and then we're going to put in our duct plugs. Once you've got all the duct plugs on, put everything all in the skimmer basket, all your jets, and then just put it inside the pump house. The first thing I'm going to blow out on this one here, this is the Hayward variable speed. I'm going to blow out the skimmer first. So for this particular setup, I want to block off the main drain. The side suction's already turned off, and I'm going to open up the skimmer. Don't forget the two plugs on your pump. These two are right on the side here. So disconnect those. Get the lid off. Get the basket and put all your stuff in it. Don't forget your drain plug on your filter. And here we got our hose in. I just push the hose in there and then kink it a bit. Hopefully it doesn't push out. You might have a different setup for yours, but I have to deal with so many pools that I kind of have to adapt to everybody's pool. Yeah, because it's 2-inch pipe all the way from the pump house to here, it just gurgles like that. I just got to run it for a bit. Sometimes if you turn it off and then turn it back on, it'll shoot up higher. You can turn it on and off like that until you stop getting those, you can hear the water and you can see it spraying up. You're not going to get every drip out of it because you're going to put some antifreeze in there after, but get most of it out. I can still hear the gurgling. So just keep on doing that with the blower, and just if you're having an issue trying to blow it all out. So I'm satisfied that I got most of the water out. Get yourself a jug of antifreeze. This here is almost 4 liters. So what I do is, see, it's all empty. Pour half of it. I just lean it on its side like this and wait till it stops. It's about half. Then I'm going to put the gizmo in. Now you have 1.5 inch, 2 inch. This one here is 1.5 inch. So I'm going to Teflon tape this a little bit more, and I'm going to screw it in just snug. So I put about 4 or 5 wraps around, and this is the pink stuff, so a little bit thicker. So if you have white, then you're going to probably have to go around a couple more times. Then we're going to screw that in. We're going to take the other half of with antifreeze, pouring in around it. The lid back on. I'm going to put this in the front, like my other video and every other pool I do, if I can do it. Put it into the skimmer. Bring it all the way in. And it gives it that extra little safety thing. I don't want this breaking. Next, there's our skimmer we just done. So we have to shut that. Because if we blow this other stuff and that ball valve has failed, it's going to push a little bit of air past that. That's why I'm going to do the main drain next. Because there's my side suction. It has one of the duct plugs on it blowing out. So I'll do that one last. So our main drain, it's shut off right now. So I'm going to turn the other side. Both of my other ones are shut. You might not have this. You might just have the three-way. So we're going to blow the main drain. Whatever blower you're using for the main drain, if it doesn't do what I'm going to show you next, then you have to get a more powerful blower. You want the main drain to do this. To keep it pushed down, using the air that we just put in, as the blower's running, turn it off very quickly. So you shut that off. Sometimes these fail. You're gonna have to, like if this fails and you try to turn this off, you'll hear it through here. So you know if you have to change the inside here, like the gaskets or anything like that. So next we're gonna do our next suction, which is the side suction. Most pools don't even have this, but this pool does. So we're gonna open this up. That's our side suction. Turn the pump on. So when you have consistent bubbling for about 2-3 minutes, then you can turn it off. Now you know that you got most of the bulk of the water out. Then you have to, when you turn it off, you got to make sure that you don't see any leaks. So if you see little bubbles coming up anywhere, you might have to replace that duct plug or re-Teflon tape it and then put it back in. This is the cap they give you. You just click it in all the way around. Push in the center, it's a little easier to put it in. That's it for our side suction. So we're going to do the returns. They have the same plugs. So we're going to do the return side, and because our backwash is out and buried, we're going to have to blow that line out too. Treat it as another line full of water. We don't want that breaking either. So we turn the recirculate or whirlpool for the returns. So when you do the backwash, you're going to put it on, turn it on waste. So it's whatever comes in, goes right out the backwash. But if we're doing the returns, whirlpool or recirculate. Your setup's going to be totally different, but it's the same idea. Whatever comes out the top of the pump, your discharge, you're going to have to follow the line, and wherever you can, you're going to have to hook up your blower to it. This one here, because I have the backwash in the ground, I'm going to have to do it on this side, where close as I can, where it comes out of the pump. So there's a union right there. So I'm going to disconnect this 2-inch union, and I'm going to stick the blower there. If you have a normal backwash hose, you can just wrap it up. Then you don't have to do this. You can bypass this and then go to the next one, discharge, which goes to your jets and everything else. So there's another union here. So you can disconnect it here and then blow the lines out. But because I have a buried backwash, I'm going to have to go on this side because I'm going to have to use the pressure to go through here and then blow out through waste. This way I can't blow that way. Set up like this. Again, if this was my pool, I wouldn't have it set up like this. I would get another 2-inch union like this side here and rig up something where I can take a piece like this, the other end, and just screw it on here. And my hose is already connected. And I just have to connect it that way if I was just doing one pool. So for this, I moved the pipe. I disconnected this union here because I do have it. Yours might not have it. So you can't turn it like this. It's just ease of access. Now it's all taped up, and I'm going to use a blower. Whatever one bubbles first, that's the closest pipe. So this one blew out pretty much the same. So I'm assuming that the pipe's going to go this way, connected there to this one, and then all the way down there because that one's still pushing out. You might have more than 3 jets. So once these start pushing out, that was pretty good right away. That one there, if it doesn't come out right away, then we can block the one to create more pressure to push it all the way through the other side. Okay, before we turn it off, it's all going through the heater. So as it's blowing out, we're gonna take the plugs off on the side. You might have a different heater. It's whatever the drain plugs are around. A lot of times they're underneath this manifold right here. The far one here, if you see other videos, this is a Ray pack. The far one is very hard to take off. A lot of times they just drop inside. So I don't even take that one off. I just blow it a little bit longer. I take this one off here, right about there. See if there's any water that comes out. And then if you have any other equipment, this one here, I have a UV right here, but I just disconnect that at the bottom after I've done blowing. Okay, so as it's blowing, and the other side, once everything's blown out good on the pool side, it's blown out equal all your jets, then you come back in, undo this, then you can turn that blower off. We also have a waterfall right here. So the returns we are doing, and once the returns are done, you can turn that off, turn on the waterfall, get all the water out of the waterfall. You got to disconnect the bottom of this UV because it comes in this way, the bottom, and it comes up and it blows out there. So this thing's full of water. I can't push up the water high enough to all come out here. I got to disconnect that bottom union to get all the water out, well, most of the water out anyway, tighten it back up, and then re-blow everything all over again because the water's just once in a while just spitting up and then going through the pipes. So if you have a big canister like this, you got to empty that all out. So just go around, check all those jets, any bubbling, redo it, and you have to do all the returns. If one fails, redo everything. To help it get a lot of water out, we disconnected that to get it out of the manifold. The bottom of the UV, we disconnected that to get a lot of the water out, and then we just tighten it back up. Once you're totally done, just loosen that off and then there's going to be some water still in there, but there was a lot of water in there, so it couldn't be pushed out. So we took out most of the water. Now we tighten that back up because we still got to do the waterfall. Put the plug back in here. The return, we're done. I've shut that off. Now we're going to blow the waterfall. Once that's done, we're going to take off the plug and we're going to unloosen the bottom of that so the rest of the water can drain out. Right now, waterfall. So we're done that. I took the plug out of there, take everything and put it in the basket. Now we're gonna blow backwash out because this is buried. So we're gonna turn this dial to waste. Okay, so we're done that. So we've done that. Plugs are out of that. Plugs are out of the pump. They're in the basket. The plugs off the filter. I'm going to take the pressure gauge off and the sight glass here. Take this stuff, put it in the basket. We're going to loosen that off at the bottom. Not fully, because I don't want any mice getting in there. So we just want to undo it so it's just gradually leaking out. There's not much water in there, but... So once you're done in here and you got all your parts in there, put the basket back in. All your parts are there, so you're not going to lose anything. And then put the lid back on. Make sure the power's off, that you need off anyway. If you have a timer, make sure you turn the timer off and the power. I've had them where they've come back on in January, which is not good, so it'll just milk the pump once it turns back on. Turning the switch off on a timer is not good enough. Turn the breaker off to that timer. And then that's it for the equipment side. Another pool closed.